life is beautiful to me, right? Like, I think when you say life isn't so nice, there's parts of life that, you know, as you're coming up, that no one could ever prepare you for, right? Never prepare you for. But I always say, us, when you say like we're not aligned, right?
Right.
Like we're out of line. Like we always talking beings, human beings, we make life hard.
Story is like amazing, but to make the decision of becoming a minister also, that's a whole other chapter. What brought you to that?
That came about after just reading the Bible, and it began to unfold to me. You know, I began to get a lot of revelated knowledge through it, and I wanted to really teach people, because there's a lot of things that people say that's biblical, that's not biblical. You know,
Give me an example.
If you take one step, God will take two.
I've heard that.
I know you did.
Yeah.
It's not in the Bible though.
Something somebody said to me is definitely true. They was like, yo, when I was in my 20s, they was like, yo, you're not gonna think how you think in your 30s.
Yeah.
Then when I was in my 30s, they was like, yo, you're not gonna think how you think like when you're in your 40s. When I was in my 40s, it was like, yo, you're not gonna think how you think like when you get to your 50s. Right?
And were they all right?
Yes.
Oh, shit!
100%.
This shit never stops.
Yeah.
Yo! I didn't want to
You know what
hear
I'm
that,
saying?
but it's like, I needed to.
Yeah.
It's the conversation. Yeah. Take your mind different places. Now you know. So yeah.
All right. So yeah, we got Ty and Doug in the crib. What's going on, guys? How are you?
Good.
You feeling good?
Hey, how you doing?
How was the journey over here?
Oh man, it was smooth.
Yeah?
Yeah. No traffic, right? It's not as good as beautiful as a day. It's a beautiful day, but it's not as good as it was the other day I was in the area.
Oh yeah, nah, that was beautiful. It was like 60 degrees. That's another thing that's just so crazy. Climate change is so real. But I was also watching Life on Our Planet with Morgan Freeman doing the voiceover.
Okay.
So good.
Uh-huh.
And pretty much, you know, you look at history, right? You look at Earth, and it's been through so many changes without human influence.
Right.
You know, it went through their own like global warming periods by itself. So with that being said, do you guys feel that, you know, of course humans play some type of role in how we affect the Earth, but do you guys feel like that's gonna be the only reason why the Earth changes, or this is just part of the process?
I believe it's part of the process. I believe that the Earth does what it does. For seasons, years out, years. It's nothing new under the sun. Things just rotate and do every 100 years. The pandemic was happening every 100 years.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
So
That's
it
true.
does its own thing, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
It's inevitable. Nature. That's another thing too. And you're a pastor, right? Minister. Like people. I come across many different people. They say you have to separate God and nature. Do you believe that?
You can't separate the two. Can't separate the two, because the earth was created by God, right? So how can you separate what He created?
Right.
Everything that's in line with God continues to do what it does. The sun stays and shines, it don't move because it's in line to what God wanted to do. Only things out of line is us. You know, once we get out of line, then you see things don't happen right for us. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
everything that's in line has to go according to what God wants. And that's nature. You know?
Wow. So you're saying God wants nature,
Of course.
but then we also have to understand the cycle of life. Then, right? Like some are gonna get killed, some are gonna get eaten, some are gonna be, you know.
It's the cycle.
That is the cycle.
Yeah.
That you know that brings up a good point, because I feel like, I don't know, sometimes you talk to people and they're like, oh, God is supposed to be like this nice, jolly. They almost like give him a Santa Claus depiction, right? But like life isn't so nice. You know what I mean? Like, and who's to say that being nice is good for you anyway, right? Like sometimes you gotta feel a little bit of brutality, if you will, or a little bit of hurt to appreciate more in life, right?
But I think, I mean, to me, life is beautiful to me, right? Like, I think when you say life isn't so nice, there's parts of life that, you know, as you're coming up, that no one could ever prepare you for, right? Never prepare you for. But I always say, when you say like we're not aligned, right?
Right.
Like we're out of line. Like we always talking human beings, we make life hard. I think we make life hard just by our choices.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's what I feel. But life itself, just on your, I remember a long time. Well, not. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah. If you remember when Will Smith first came out with what was his first record? Parents Just Don't Understand, right?
Okay, I wasn't my time.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah.
So what? Parents Just Don't Understand. Mm-hmm. So, he's from the start, great career, became a millionaire,
Right.
lost everything, right?
Right.
And I remember him saying, "Hey, my life was so simple when I was out of debt," right? And at that point in my life, I was in extreme debt, stressed out because I'm in debt,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
In debt, and I was like, man, I got to get out of debt. And I got out of debt. Like I worked 2 jobs, took my money and just paid all my credit card bills. I mean, you knew me forever, right? We were always into shopping, buying, you know? And once I found the magic of a credit card, it was like swipe, swipe, right? So I'm in an extreme debt. And then forget about, oh man, at one point I was like renting cars every other week.
Oh nah.
Right? And so I was in extreme debt, but I worked hard enough, got out of debt. I mean, 0 debt. And no lie, it was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah.
And I was, like, I just felt like carefree, really not a care in the world except just taking care of what I do from day to day. So I said that to say, I really think we make life hard, just by our choices,
It's so true.
Yeah.
But even the weight of like you having debt, like I get it because I have debt and it's just like I want to pay shit off, you know what I mean? But like at the same time, it is also all mental. You know,
Yeah.
it is still fabricated.
Yeah.
You know, of course, it's good to have work ethic. It's good to have a sense of like, okay, I'm making money, but let's not get it twisted. All this is just man-made, like ways for us to be in the system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just how it's been. But I guess I don't know. Sometimes when I get myself in a position where I'm like I owe a little bit of money, right? And I'll be like, damn, what's gonna go on? All right, you know what I think about?
Right.
I'm like, man, America owns like trillions of dollars. like in comparison, you know what I mean? Like, and they still good right now.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
But I don't know. It's just how it be. But yo, talk to me more about how you guys met. I know you guys met from way back, and there's a third member to this group that isn't here right now. And you could explain to me a little bit about the dynamics. You know?
You want to start?
You start.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna tell you how me and him met.
Okay.
Right. Matter of fact, I was at your show, right? At your show, and I met some young men that was performing. They was from my old neighborhood. I used to live in a section of East New York. They call the Bammers, right?
The Bammers?
Yeah, they call the Bammers. And these guys that I met at your show was from that area.
Okay.
Right? I just wanted to, like throw
Yeah,
that out
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But so I moved from over in that area to, I'm gonna say his area, right? Further down East New York, down the block from the 75th precinct on Linwood Street. And I've played basketball. I don't look like it, but I played basketball.
Point guard? What's up?
Point guard.
Yeah.
So I played basketball all my life. I ain't gonna say all my life, from the time I was 5 years old.
Okay.
And when I got good, I was tearing cats up.
Oh, so you was nice.
I'm gonna say I could play.
You got his nod of approval.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's like
right?
what it's like.
But, no, I was tearing cats up.
Okay.
And we used to have a court in the street, and Ty used to come on my block. And he was like the only guy my age, my size, we was the same size at one time.
Right.
That I couldn't beat. We would play every day. He didn't brag, but he bust my tail every day. We would go
Kept
at
it
it.
humble.
Yeah. And he was the only cat I couldn't beat. And so we became friends from there, right? Mm-hmm. And but here's the thing, I don't know. Dell was close to your side, the guy that's not here. Mm-hmm. He was close to your side. I don't know. I'll let you continue. I don't know how you and Dell met.
Well, me and Dell met flipping on mattress.
Okay. All
Gymnastics.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We used to go out there, we used to flip and compete against each other. That's how we met.
Oh, wow.
So, that's we met. We all met in our teens. We was in our teens when we met.
Wow, so that's interesting. So you guys met, you and Dell, right? Met in gymnastics. You just do gymnastics, like flips and all that
in
stuff?
In the street, though.
In the street? Oh, snap. On concrete?
Concrete.
Oh, snap.
Springs. We learned like that.
Wow, that's epic. And that's interesting, the trajectory of you guys, because like you said, he's more of like the street dude. You became a minister, and Doug, you went on your own way too. And it's like, I feel like you are probably the glue also of some sort of this group. You know what I mean? Or what is it?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say the glue, but because they look at me as the little brother. Like,
okay.
Like I know I'm like the little brother, right?
Okay.
So, but we were always well, I'm gonna say like just fast forward our hip hop journey. Our hip hop journey, I had to say, maybe came, not maybe, it came from Dell. Okay,
because he started the rap.
Well, Dell brother, Bobby, right? Not Bobby, Michael. Michael was DJ, right? Mm-hmm. And then also, so me and Dell used to go and sneak on his brother's turntable.
Oh, okay.
And Dell already knew how to mix, and
nice.
Dell knew how to rhyme, and I didn't know how to rhyme. So when Dell started, since Dell knew how to mix and I didn't, he would sneak on his brother's turntable, start mixing, and I would start rhyming. My rhymes was whack though at that time. I couldn't rhyme.
Okay.
But it was two friends doing what we do, right?
Yeah.
And,
you still had fun.
Yeah. And then Dell was in a group. He became part of a group before they became. They started making records called Stetsasonic. And he was in that group, and the members of that group showed him how to formalize a routine. We would call it at that time. Formalize a routine.
For the performance aspect?
Yes. For the performance aspect. Mm-hmm. And then he would come back to me and show me, right? And we created a group. And from that group, we created a group, and the name was Definite Destruction.
Definite Destruction.
Yeah. Why Definite Destruction? I don't even know. And it was me, Dell, this guy named Roger, and another guy named Seaborn. Seaborn and Roger eventually left the group, just to do their own thing. Mm-hmm. And Ty was always around us. And I got to say, not Ty's family and his brother, I remember AZ. AZ was heavy into DJing, and Ty already knew how to DJ, right? At that point. And we looked at Ty. I think we were at a party.
They had a show.
Okay.
And they didn't have a DJ for the show. Mm-hmm. So they asked me to come do the show for them.
Oh, nice.
So I went. I think we went to Danceteria, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was Danceteria.
It might have been Danceteria. It's so long ago, I can't remember.
And I became officially the DJ.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because
Yeah.
would you say that you understood vibes?
As far as DJing,
Yeah. I feel like DJs understand vibes.
Yeah,
Like they enter a room, they'll be like,
you
okay.
read the room and know
Right.
what to play for who. Yeah,
Right.
most likely.
What is that? What would you say that is?
Just discerning your audience.
Mm.
You know,
From like what? Like from how they dress, from how they like, you know what I'm saying? Like what is it?
it could be a number of things. It could be dress code. It can be age factor.
What is that?
How old they are.
Oh,
audience
age factor.
is.
No, I see what you're saying.
And-
No, that's so
and you
true.
Figure out, be like, okay, you'll know what.
All right, so all right, let me break the room. Let me like, all right, I'm gonna set the tone. Imagine you go into a room, right? There's people in there like 30s, 40s, and a sprinkle of 20s. What are you playing?
You got to play most of the classics that the 20s would know, like most 20s would know classics like, let's see. Okay, everybody would know Biggie, right?
Yeah, that's true.
The same track of what's the song? Girl, doom, doom, girl, that's your fantasy. I'll take you there. What's that?
Oh, you got me when you
To
said
that
fantasy.
ecstasy.
Oh wait, and I think I know what you're talking about.
Between the Sheets.
Between the
Okay,
sheets. Okay,
right.
okay.
That song and Biggie's song, same track.
Yeah.
So if you throw that on,
That's Dennis Edwards. Yeah.
all groups would know the Biggie,
Yeah.
and they all would know the Between the Sheets.
Oh shit!
So you read the room and you have them on the floor, and they be like, "Oh, that," you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how you read the room.
Wow,
in the age group.
that's smart. I never heard I've never heard it broken down that way. I've had a DJ on too, and they just, like a lot of people are just quick to say read the room, but I want to know like what is that
That's how
exactly?
you read it.
No, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
But when you say a vibe, like, not saying this because he's here. Ty always been a vibe, right?
Oh, like his presence.
Yeah. Like you may look at him and say, oh, read him and say, oh, yo, he doesn't say much, but nah, what he says
Is enough.
Yeah, it sticks. Just like now, like how you know, it sticks, and then also, like when he was DJing, like he automatically knew what to play. He automatically knew what to do. He automatically knew when to drop the music, so like the crowd could hear you. The crowd could hear your words and bring it back up and bring it back down. So they'd be like, "Oh, that line was." He would know your lines and be like, "Drop it," so people could hear the best line.
Yeah.
And then bring it right back, right? And then on top of it, I'm just say this: I've never seen anybody dance better than this man.
Hey.
Nah, for real. Like when I tell you, can dance.
Yeah.
And I mean, and at that time we were much younger, right? Nah, like I'm talking like, and I always go back and correct me if I'm wrong, how he used to tell me like, oh, yeah, I watched Fred Astaire and how he moved, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow. And Fred Astaire was always considered, I mean, he was an older white guy, right? Mm-hmm. But he was always considered a great dancer, you know? And that's why I always say Ty was a vibe. He was like, when he DJ'd, he knew how to set the tone in the room. He could dance, he could dress, right?
Yeah.
So he was, he was a vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Ty, what were some of your like inspirations growing up? Like who, if there were any?
As far as music? Or
No, because it sounds like, I was going to say just music, but it sounds like you're more than just the music guy. So I'm assuming, I draw inspiration, I make music too, right? But I draw inspiration from so many different, like, aspects of life.
I had 5 uncles,
Wow.
right? My grandmother had 6 sons. My father, he had 5 brothers. Each one of them was their own vibe. I had one who dressed crazy nice,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, I like how you dress, so I'm gonna tap into that.
Okay.
I had one uncle that told me, listen, nephew, gotta make sure you have a nice ride and a nice woman on your arm.
Hey.
Okay, I got that. Then I had another uncle who was more smooth and quiet
Okay.
and always observed.
Okay.
It was there. So I got that from him.
Nice.
I had another uncle who showed love, especially to the young men, because it was like, nah, you ain't showing no love to no young man. But he was like, it's okay. And show love to the young man. What's up, hug him. So, you know what I'm saying? And then I had one who ain't take no mess.
Oh, word?
So that means that he always say, you can be cool,
Yeah, to a point.
but step up on you, you got to handle your business. And that goes to even biblically, because we got two natures. The Bible said we have a nature of a lion and a nature of a lamb. So it depends on what you want to see.
Yeah.
I like to keep the lamb out, but there's a lion in there.
Yeah.
So, so just growing up, I learned that. My mother always told me that everything you try to do, you master. I was like, can't tell him he can't do something because he's going to master it, I put on the skates. You ain't going to be able to skate. I mastered it. You know what I'm saying?
You put 10,000 hours. You ever heard that?
Huh?
You ever heard of that?
No.
10,000 hours? So it's like, I forgot what rule it's called. I think it's Murphy's? No, I forgot the rule. But it's the rule is like 10,000 hours. It takes 10,000 hours to master something.
Oh, yeah.
So
he wants to put it in.
Yeah, the time. And I think it's a true thing. You know what I mean? Like the amount of time you put into something, it doesn't matter how bad you start off or whatever. You're gonna get excellent.
But I've seen personally where some things come easier for others than it,
some things
do for some people.
Some things.
Like some people just like say for instance, I'm gonna get back to his dancing. He didn't put 10,000 hours in dancing. It was just
But off rip, you don't know that. You don't know. Maybe he was like, you know what I mean, 8 years old. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna get this shit on point. And then
let me break down this.
You don't know that.
That's true.
That's true.
I can only speak to that. I don't know, right?
I probably did put it 10,000.
Yeah. But as to me, and I'm gonna be honest, to me, it's just like I looked over one day and I was like, yo, he can dance. Yeah. So it's like, but again, like you said, I don't know, he could have been in his room, I'm gonna practice this dance move or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just see like.
No, but I get your point though. There is that. Some people are just naturally good at certain things.
Yeah.
But they also still do have to work on it to remain excellent. Right?
Yeah.
To a degree.
So and when going back to basketball, right? Like again, him being a vibe, I'm like, yo, he's mad. I was like, yo, he's mad creative. His handle was crazy. And when I was playing, I was like, yo, the only person I looked at, I was like, had a better handle than myself was him. Well, for real, who I used to play against, But
when you guys were partners or some shit on 2-on-2 match or some shit ever?
We played in a team together.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
We played in a team together.
Nice.
Yeah. And that was a crazy story.
What? Oh, y'all both know the story. You're both like, what? What's the story?
Now, at one point in my life, I used to smoke, right?
Okay.
For a short period of time. But whenever I smoked, I would be, my nose would bleed.
Bleed?
Yeah,
What
like
the fuck?
crazy. Yeah, I'll give you the whole
Was not
background.
for you.
Me and my man. This is when, because I don't know how it is now, but this is when everybody used to roll blunts, right?
Yeah.
So I'm with my man David Lee. Shout out to David Lee. We up in Fort Greene at somebody's brownstone. I can't even remember. And we watching a Knick game. And so we rolling, they rolling blunts. And everybody was like, yo, it was 4 of us. They was like, yo, the first one that goes to sleep, you don't mind if I curse on it, right?
Nah, you can curse.
Okay. So first one goes to sleep, gets the shit smacked out of them, right? So me and David Lee, we smoking, the other two dudes smoking. We in their house. They fall asleep. So my man David Lee looks over at me. He's like, yo, we should smack the shit out of her, right? And I was like, ah, to start laughing. And after he said that, I called the munchies, right?
Yeah.
Ran downstairs. We ate. Was like, yo, I got a basketball game in the morning. Boom, boom. Dapped it up. I was like, yo, I'm out. I wake up and my nose is bleeding.
That's so crazy. I've never heard that in my life.
Yeah, my nose is bleeding like crazy, and I know I had a game, right?
I would never smoke weed.
So, so I didn't even want to tell my mother my nose was bleeding because she would have been like, "Yo, you not," because our game was in the Bronx, right?
Tell the white in the Bronx.
Yeah. So we was like, "Yo," I was like, I was just trying to stop my nose from bleeding, so. I stopped my nose stopped because it was like really bleeding. So I guess I had got it down to a trickle, was able to stuff some tissue in my nose and get on my way. Yeah. So now I'm walking to his spot, right? His crib. Because we probably was all, no, matter of fact, we did all go together on the train. We all got together. Yeah. So I walked to his crib. I walked past Dell's crib and sanitation was out, right? And this is how I was still tripping. Because the sanitation worker had on a mask, looked like a daredevil, right? And I looked at him and I was like, yo, I gotta stop smoking that shit. Well, and I kept walking, got to his crib, we got on the train, and I'm still feeling the effects. Like, you know how you like when you got phlegm in your throat and you hawk it up, right? And it was still like, I was hawking up blood. I was, going between the cars and spit out a little bit of blood. So we get to the game. I was starting.
Damn, that's crazy.
I was starting, right? Boom. I'm playing halfway decent the first half, and we're winning.
Okay.
Rod Strickland comes.
Who's that?
He's a former NBA player that used to play for the New York Knicks.
Okay, at the time.
No, he didn't get drafted yet, but he should have been drafted.
Oh wow.
That good.
Yeah. He was on the horizon. He was going.
But he came to participate.
He was on the other team.
Oh, he was on the other team. Second half. Right.
Oh shit.
So here I go, and not using the fact that I was smoking as any excuse, but I'm like, I take the ball out, and I call myself dribbling, and I'm still dribbling, and he has the ball. Score it.
No.
And I'm like this.
No. Right? For real? Like nothing there?
Yo.
You saw this?
Yeah, he was looking at it on the bench.
Right.
And then I was like, all right, everybody gets stripped, right?
Right.
All right. Take it out. Same thing happens.
No.
Again. Yo. Our coach, Rich. Yeah, Rich was like, yo, what you doing? Screaming, yo, sit down. Puts Ty in the game.
Damn.
Yo, I ain't never get back in the game again.
No.
That was the enemy smoking weed. Yo.
No, nah, facts. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Nah, that makes, damn.
Yeah.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Story.
Yeah.
That's wild, man. Oh, shit. Now, Ty, like, when did you get into becoming a minister? What was that like? How did that come into play?
That came into play. I was involved in a situation. I was always being pulled to go because a lot of my friends was in there. But like, you need to come through. It's a good vibe in there. You enjoy the service. And I always say I was gonna come. I'm come. Like, you ain't gonna come. I said, I'm gonna come by one day. And I kept saying I was gonna come. And one night I was in a situation, I'm gonna make it quick, there was a lot of gunplay going on. And I was in the midst of it, and me and my friend. And we got out of it. I had bullet holes in my clothes and everything, but we got out of it. He got shot twice, but he survived. Not him, but.
Okay. I'm looking at, because you pointed at him, and I'm like, Doug, what the fuck?
And from that point, I was like, I think I need a little change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when I went to the church and I haven't stopped since,
But yeah, I mean, but your story is like amazing. But to make the decision of becoming a minister also, that's a whole other chapter.
Yeah,
What brought you to that?
That came about after just reading the Bible, and it began to unfold to me. I began to get a lot of revelated knowledge through it, and I wanted to really teach people, because there's a lot of things that people say that's biblical, that's not biblical.
Give me an example.
If you take one step, God will take two.
I've heard that.
I know you did.
Yeah.
It's not in the Bible though.
Why do people use it then?
I don't know. So that's why I wanted to be able to teach and tell them that's not what it says.
What's something from the Bible that you? I know there's probably many things, but what's something from the Bible that you see every day?
That I see every day?
Is that a good question? Do you understand?
I think I understand. That I see like
in life.
In life every day?
Yeah.
Sowing and reaping. See it every day. If you give out bad energy, you're gonna reap bad energy.
Yep.
That's sowing and reaping. If you give out good energy, you're gonna get good energy.
That's a fact.
Whatever you plant, that's what you're gonna grow. So you see that every day. You turn around, you bless somebody with something, and then a couple of days later, you be like, "Yo, I found some money in my pocket."
Yeah. Or someone else blesses you.
Yeah.
That's the sowing and reaping process. That's an everyday thing. No matter where you go, it's gonna come back. We call it karma, good karma, bad karma, but it's a sowing and reaping process.
How do you feel? Sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, go ahead.
How do you feel about the Israel and Hamas situation?
That fight over there has been going on for years.
Yeah.
From the beginning of time. It's just one of those situations where they feel like they was robbed from each other's culture from way back, and that fight been going on for a long time. Now the weapons are different,
Right.
but they've been fighting for a long time.
So, in other words, you don't think that's gonna change?
No. You ain't stopping that fight. That fight goes from, it's like Doug and a cousin get into something bad fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he steals something from him, and it gets bad, and they don't like each other. So Doug have kids, and tell his kids, we're not dealing with that family.
That happens all the time.
And that family have kids and say, we don't mess with that family.
Right.
And that family have the other kids and and that's what's going on over there. Generation of we don't like them, they don't like us. And that's what's going on. It's so rooted and grounded in fighting each other that we're not stopping there.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's and it's a reason why just people in general around the world can't get we always have conflict, right?
Yeah.
Because of that type of stuff. I mean, well, Israel and Hamas, that's a whole deeper, right?
It's deep.
Yeah, it's deeper. Like way deeper, right? But when you just think about it, like, when will mankind ever get past that type of conflict?
Yeah, never.
That violent conflict, right?
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like, imagine, and I know it's like a Disney way of looking at it, but like, imagine the world where we're all just fucking helping each other. You know what I mean? Like, that would be amazing.
We are a product of what was done in the beginning, knowing the difference between good and evil, being a part of that fruit. You know what I'm saying? Evil's always going to be in us because we are born into it. You don't have to teach a kid how to lie or steal. They take something. Did you take my? No, Ma.
Yeah.
You had to teach them that.
Yeah.
You had to teach them to take something. So that evil is in us, but it takes our good to
Conquer it.
or overcome it or suppress it. You know? but it's always there. You know, thoughts is always there.
Yeah.
Thoughts. You know, everybody be driving and you see something evil like, just run this car. You know, like, thoughts is there.
Random ass thought.
So it's just part of our nature. You know, it's always going to be there.
That's insane.
But I mean, do you think evil is in us from the rip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are born in it. We're born in it. But you overcome it by using the fruits. They are not fruits of the spirit that we're supposed to have, which is like kindness, gentleness, patience, long suffering, tenderness. These things, and then the evil one is bitterness, and they're all there. But if we try to focus on those, we can suppress those. But it's a part of us.
Yeah, it's
Part of our DNA.
You have to constantly just go against it or try to use it creatively. You know what I mean? Like in a weird way. How was it for you guys in like your early 20s in New York City?
Yeah, I mean, that was full of hip hop. Early 20s. Early 20s was full of hip hop and the crack era, right?
The crack era.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Full of hip hop in the crack era.
80s.
Yeah.
It's 80s.
So you took like late 80s, early 90s, right? So
I was
and,
born 95 to put
yeah.
that in perspective.
Yeah, you was born in 90. Yeah, I remember you saying that. And I always say, I always say this to people younger, like in your age group, right? Like, I believe this is how I felt. I felt like y'all treat each other better than we did at the time.
Really?
And I'm gonna say it like this. This is what I mean by it. Like, if I know Ty and I know you, and we good, I'm showing you all the love in the world, right?
Yeah.
But during that time, if I don't know you or I don't know Ty, then there's a problem, right? Like we were standoffish because this is how I felt. You just didn't know. It was so much moving and
Tension.
shaking. Yeah, you just didn't know. So, whereas now, your age group, I see y'all, I watch y'all, like
more
really
welcoming.
embrace everybody. Like you'll see somebody and they embrace, y'all embracing each other. Whereas I feel like back then we had to have a history before I really embraced you like that.
Snakes.
Which is kind of better though. I think that way it's probably better in a way, right? Because people could be so welcoming. I've dealt with it. You could be so welcoming and you trusting to people, and then it's just like, fuck, why did I do that?
But it was like a lot of people back then. Everybody was on a come up. They trying to come up. Either they was trying to rob you.
Yeah.
They were selling drugs. It was that game. So you really had to watch your surroundings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You couldn't welcome everybody. Like
Right.
If somebody came around you didn't know it, we don't know who brought them around.
Right.
Yeah. And then crack, especially in the early stages, because now imagine you meeting somebody that's smoking and need that hit, but they don't look it yet, right? Because when everybody think of a crackhead, they think, look bad. They look bad. Lost a lot
Shambles.
of weight. Yeah, right? But when crack first started, they didn't look like that.
Right.
They needed that hit, but they were still looking like
A regular person.
they were still looking like us.
Right.
Right? So you had to be aware of that. Right? Like you could run up on somebody and they're like, hey, talking to you. And the next thing you know, they trying to rob you.
Or snatch something off you.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's why I always say, like, when I've had people say, oh, go back to the, like, I love the 80s. You know what I'm saying? We was able to move through the 80s. But as far as how people treated each other then, because of the climate, I was like, hey, y'all way nicer to each other. Yeah.
Well, I could say this about the 80s.
Hold on a second, my bad. This shit's pissing me off. I don't know if this is gonna make any difference. It's like I have a problem with the thing. I need to fix it. So then you hear the thing running like. All right. You were saying, my bad. I'll edit that out.
One thing about the 80s I can say is that we have more forgiving heart than y'all do now. If y'all get into a fight now, y'all want to kill a person when you lose the fight. Back then, we would fight, win or lose. We'd go sit down and probably play ball afterwards. Or we sit down and eat a hero together. You know what I'm saying? But now, they fight, win, they lose, the loser want to come back. They want to bring a knife back to the fight or a gun back. So we was more forgiving.
Do you think maybe pride plays a role?
Of course.
Yeah, there's more pride then in today's society. Maybe that's a reflection through social media.
It might be because everything is seen.
Right.
And videotape. So.
Right.
Yeah, everything's recorded.
Right.
So you
Back
can't.
then, all you had a word of mouth. Yo.
That happened.
Yeah,
This
you
happened,
can't take a
he
whooping.
lost.
Yeah.
yeah, you can't take a whooping and you know, like in private. You know what I'm saying?
That's fucking funny.
Be like, yeah, I caught him with a right hook. No, you didn't. I got it on video. I got it on video.
Yo, everyone got it on video.
Yeah, especially like when did that World Star thing start happening, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, when they started doing that, right? World Star, you know? Yeah, when that started happening, it got crazy. You know, nobody wanted to lose a fight. I gotta get some get back, you know?
Right.
Right? But yeah, like, and then from the hip hop standpoint, hip hop is beautiful, you know? Like, you could go from, like, I feel like one summer we just went on a block jam tour, because you would go from block to block and everybody had their systems out, playing music. Right. The neighborhood MC on that block was rocking.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Right? Like,
go over there and get on the mic.
Yeah, there was tons of things. Like a party in the street.
It was lively.
Yo, and I'm not exaggerating. Tell me if I'm like every 3 or 4 blocks.
But now if you try to do that, there'll be mad cops or some shit, right? They'll come through there.
It wasn't shutting us down or none of
that. Nah.
All night.
Yeah. And I was just thinking about that. I was like, man, now in New York,
it's quiet. In comparison?
Quiet. They find a way. Like when he just said, they wasn't shutting you down, right? It was a lot more freedom, right? So now when you look up and you got a camera recording you, right? You look this way, they got a speed camera. You look this way, they got a red light camera. You look this way, they got a kiosk where you got to pay the park, right? It wasn't none of that. Matter of fact, we were stealing electricity from
the light pole.
From the light pole.
For real?
Yeah, that's how we used to start the park jams. Open up the base, right?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's dope. We can't do that now. What, they have it bolted or some shit?
They
What?
probably done figured it out now. By now. That's dead.
Getting the power.
Yeah.
Wow, that's dope.
If somebody wasn't letting you juice up from their crib.
That's another thing, yo. How do you guys fucking feel about electricity, man? Nikola Tesla. I'm talking about Con Edison. I'm talking about Thomas Edison. I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy, right? Electricity could have been free. You know that?
It's supposed to be free.
Could have been free. You know where Con Edison apparently generates most of their electrical power from?
No.
Niagara Falls.
Really?
Yeah. So if you think about it, right? Like that's God-given. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like natural resource. Like why the fuck are we paying for it? You know what I'm saying? And then, but
that's a natural resource right there, right?
Water too. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Nah, it's crazy. And then you think about it. Maybe that's why they killed Tesla. Because Nikola Tesla came out with I think it's called alternate wave currents.
Okay.
And that was the way it could have been that we've all could have just been living with free electricity. And I find it weird that, like Thomas Edison, like, he's the reason why we do pay for electricity. And that the company that we all pay our bills to is named Con Ed. Like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, there's too much things going on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is like, that's wordplay beyond belief. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely wordplay.
Like, yeah, bro. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. But once man find a way to monetize anything, what they gonna do, right? Like, if I could figure out a way to monetize something, and when I say I mean just man in general,
right.
yeah, that's what's gonna be done. You know, if I could figure out a way, like I was just before I came over here, I was watching a video, of a black owned tax company. They created a software that's now supposed to rival TurboTax, right?
Okay.
A cheaper version. I've never used TurboTax, but it was interesting. Their IRS approved all that, but when you listen to them, when I was listening, I was like, man, that's pretty ingenious, right? So they've made the software, and they're using AI, right? Mm-hmm. So they've made the software where the regular layman can become a tax professional and create a side hustle for themselves. Or, if I'm not mistaken, if you just want to do your taxes yourself, you'll be able to do it, right? But it's basically made for a side hustle, right? And for people to start becoming tax professionals. And I was like, man, people are gonna figure out a way. Man is gonna figure out a way to get to $1 or to create a living for themselves. Yeah. I believe, and I don't know the whole story behind it, but I saw something where Dame Dash even said that you can buy air rights.
What?
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Air rights. So, and I ain't gonna go into depth.
What, for travel? Like, what is that?
Like, I can't go into depth on it, but I did hear him say it.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. But it just goes back to air, water, right? Like, you're gonna find a way, man.
Damn.
To monetize any and everything.
Just like Lotto.
The Lotto.
That was the Stop the Street Hustle who was doing the number running.
Yeah.
You know, with the horse bettings and number runs and made it legal to get that money.
Yeah. Lotto's no different than what weed is now, right? Lotto was numbers. Like, and see, you probably just know Lotto, Mega Millions, all that stuff as it is right now.
Right.
But the numbers that you go into the drugstore, neighborhood store and play was illegal at one point.
Really?
Yeah. And to keep it a buck, God may they rest in soul, my mother and my grandmother got arrested for that. Because they read numbers. The number man would roll up on you with a sheet and right? Mm-hmm. What number you playing today, right? How they do it? They got the same concept. Mm-hmm. They got the bolitas. You want to box it, combo, the whole same concept from the street. So if you watch, where you can get a good feel of it at, if you watch that movie American Gangster. Okay. Right? And in the beginning of American Gangster, the guy that's running, Frank Lucas, is running with what's the guy's name? He was working for a guy, but the guy ran numbers. Okay. Right? So, but in the beginning of the film, you can get a good feel for it. But that number running, that's all Lotto is. When you go to the store, all of that was illegal. Damn. When we during our time, right? Like when we was coming up, like when you say,
I guess it was illegal because they didn't control it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Once they control it, then like weed, that's a good comparison. Yeah. It's a great comparison. That's another thing that's fucked up. Like how many people are still locked up?
Exactly.
In jails. In prisons right now for weed.
Like,
when they should be the CEOs of fucking companies if we're looking at it, you know what I mean? Like of this business.
Mm-hmm. You in turn lock people up for this, then you make it legal and they still in jail.
And they're still in jail, and you're making millions.
Yeah.
Millions. How much? You know, I forgot who said this too. Man, it was a comedian. He was like, Michael Che. Michael Che.
Okay.
He was like, something under the lines of, I'm gonna butcher this joke, but something under the lines of, that's how you know America needed some money, cause every single time someone needs some money and like, you know, there's no work or whatever, some shit like that, he goes like, might as well sell some weed.
Right.
I saw in the news yesterday that New York has grossed $100 million so far.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm not surprised.
They pop up everywhere.
And it is so crazy, yo. Like,
and then New York grossing $100 million. That means just on the tax of it, what they taxing. New York City has grossed $100 million. That's on taxing the marijuana business, right?
that's insane.
Yeah.
What do you think is the future of New York as?
Man, what's the future of New York? Becoming more
High, everybody getting high.
Yeah, everybody getting high. Because, you know what? And we talking about New York, like, they might as well just go down the line and start legalizing drugs. Period.
All
Period.
drugs?
Like, just start legalizing. Because isn't, what's that? Where at? I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank on it right now. Drugs are legal. People just have to make a choice. You know? Like, that, I mean, like, but when you start talking about the, how can I say, the future of New York, it's like, I just look at it becoming more oppressive. I think New York right now, like, is just like, you know, like, when you start thinking about the cameras all over the place and the restrictions, like you can't. It's like I feel like you can't do anything in this city. Almost.
You heard about the new toll too that's coming into Manhattan?
Yeah. And just and as simple as, I'm gonna tell you a simple thing for me. Like, I got a ticket driving down Jamaica Avenue.
Why?
They don't want traffic going through Jamaica Avenue no more.
Yeah.
So you just got a ticket just for being on Jamaica Avenue?
Yeah.
I had got one 14th Street. They don't want nobody coming through 14th Street at I believe Washington Square all the way to 8th Avenue. Just bus.
Yeah.
I know,
right.
I'm coming through. Like,
Something you did for 30 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hold up. Only bus.
Yeah. Cops pulled up on me, right? I'm like, what'd I do? Pulled me over and was like, yo, look, you can't drive down Jamaica Avenue.
You live over by Jamaica though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but I'm over there, you know, where the Coliseum is at, right?
Okay.
So they pulled me over, said, hey, can't drive on Jamaica Avenue no more. As tons of cars is just driving. As tons of cars is just driving by, right? I'm like, oh, you're starting with me, huh? Right?
That's fucked up.
And then I could tell, you know, anytime I'm talking to the cops, as we're talking, I could tell he was like, man, I wish I hadn't pulled this guy over, right?
Right.
He's like a decent guy.
Right.
Because first they're like, and I'm not really giving them no stuff. Because I've been pulled over before, and guys, and cops was like, yo, you're a nice dude. You know what? I ain't gonna give you a ticket. No, just keep it moving, right?
Nice.
And as we talking, they like, I could tell he was like, oh man.
He still did it.
He was like, yeah, he still did it, right? And he was like,
But he still did it, though.
and he gonna tell me, he said, no, you could go around the block and see where the signs are up at saying, hey, you're not supposed to drive over here. And I was like, nah, I'm just gonna turn and go home. You know what I mean? Yeah, I ain't going around the block. You shouldn't have gave me a ticket, man. Let me
Right,
go.
that's it.
Yeah. But I got 100, and I'm looking like, And he was like, yeah, I know you see all the cars driving by. I was like, yeah, I see. He
Yeah.
said, but we're enforcing it now. I was like, so y'all starting with me.
You said that though?
No,
You should have said
I
that.
was thinking it.
Should have said it.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Could have changed it. But all right, man. Fucking. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Yeah, I got a question for you. How you feel about, because I know you're into hip hop heavy. I know you're an artist. How you feel about hip hop right now?
I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like it's everything you want it to be, but I don't know. I like when I was younger, and I felt like there was a lot of different types of artists with different messages, and they had their own style in hip hop. And we're talking about specifically hip hop, right? Because I'm not talking about other because then we can get into a whole other conversation. But like hip hop in general, I feel like everyone had their own style, and I feel like now in hip hop, it's generally like morphed. Everyone wants to like sound the same, talk the same, do the same thing. Like there's not much of a like variety, I feel like. But at the same time, it has expanded to different cultures. So like if you look at certain artists, maybe they don't have that much buzz, but they have their own style of it, then you could find those little niches. But I feel like they don't have the same level of broadcasting as they once did before, in terms of like the difference of different music, different cultures. So I feel like, and also, I think the streaming aspect, like everybody online, everyone on social media, everyone doing, it dilutes it a little bit.
When you say dilute it, what you mean dilute it how?
Cause like, I feel like there was an element to music, to movies, like in terms of like actresses and actors and whatever like that. Back then, that since you didn't really see them like that, that there was like a level of mystery. You know what I mean? There was a level of like, oh, like this person pops out in certain moments. And then it was just that moment. And then now it's always that moment if you just look at your phone, So it's like, I don't know, I feel like it dilutes it in that aspect, the mystery, the lure.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying, because I've heard other people say it, like when you see, before you used to see an artist like say, I ain't gonna say Michael Jackson because he's just like he was larger than life almost, right? But say if you see Jadakiss, right? And you see Jadakiss and you like, oh, that's Jadakiss. I see him all the time on social media. I know what he's doing, whatever. And maybe 15 years ago, if you saw Jadakiss, you'd be like, oh man, that's Jadakiss, right? Because
or even like, cause you're right, but also or it could just be the person is still excited, but instead of like taking the moment, the first thing they want to do is take out their phone to take that moment. And it's just like they can still be excited, but not have that level of, oh, okay, let me talk to this person first, and like and then I don't know, take a photo afterwards.
But in some, I agree with you in a lot of ways. Like, it's a lot of sounding the same, right? Right? I don't remember a time in hip hop where I heard so many artists sound the same, right? Like, I know you draw inspiration, like people draw inspiration from someone, but I remember, everybody draw inspiration from somebody, right? But I remember a time in hip hop where you had to be different, right? And I think the music business created that whole framework, that drawing of sounding the same. Because how I look at it now, I look at it like there's hip hop and then there's the music business of hip hop, the business of hip hop.
Yeah.
Right. So now for people that's dealing with people that like in the offices, sitting behind a chair, making decisions, writing checks, they're like, hey, Ice Spice sounds like this. You need to sound like her. You know what I mean? Little Baby sounds like this. You need to sound like him. Right? And at a time, I think for us, I and I don't want to sound like the disgruntled old guy, right? But I think we came up at a time where it was like, oh, like being different.
You respected it more.
Was encouraged. Yeah, it was encouraged to be different, to sound different, to come up with your own thing, right? And which maybe what made us come up with a name like Definite Destruction, right? But eventually, as we got a little older and got a little more knowledge, said, yo, we gonna draw that back and become the Kornerstonz. All right, so
where did the Kornerstones came from? Why the Kornerstones?
Why the Kornerstones?
Yeah.
Because after you start looking at what Definite Destruction, you know, when you just look at the word Definite Destruction, you like, hold up, we're gonna change this name, right? You know,
Well, we was definitely destroying
yeah,
lyrics
that's for
and
sure.
beats.
Yeah,
Right.
So the name fit,
Right.
yeah,
you know. So, but a cornerstone is, you know, that person that's solid on the corner, directing people, you know, then, and no matter how many times you walk around, you gotta get to a corner. There's a corner everywhere where somebody hang out on or used to be at. So that cornerstone is that person that's out there, just giving them some good word.
that's a fact. Yeah,
You know?
Nice. You're gonna come across it.
Fact.
You know.
yeah.
Can't go nowhere without going past a corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, that's dope.
Yeah.
And all right, well, what would you guys say to your younger selves now?
Just let your younger self.
What I say to my younger self?
Yeah.
What would you say to your younger self?
What I say to my just keep pushing. Everything's gonna work out. Yeah, everything's gonna work out. Yeah, because at the end of the day, look, what's his name? Andre 3000. Just got an album where the wind blew me, right? And I have this thing is that
It's the instrumental album, right?
it's
He's playing the flute.
Yeah, he's playing the flute, right? Which is a whole nother thing, right? But when you say when the wind blew me, I feel like most times in life, a lot of us goes where the wind takes us. Right? Sometimes you like there's things that have worked out for me in my life that which again when you start going back, you know, if you religious, believe in God, like another saying, man make plans, God laughs. Like you know, everything is already written for you, right? So but I feel like, you know, a lot of us go where the wind take us, right? Where the wind, where the wind is taking us. So, yeah, I keep pushing. Everything's gonna work out.
I would just say, you know, you just deal with what you dealt with growing up. You know, I always say that all my good judgment came from experience, and all my experience came from bad judgment. You know, and so you needed that to get to there.
Yeah, you do.
You know,
You would be oblivious without it.
built up your character to who you are now. So
Wow.
I wouldn't change anything. I probably would let him win a few games. Maybe. Back then. That's probably it.
That's funny.
You know,
Yeah. But I mean, regardless, like the wins, the losses, all of that. Like for me, I embrace all. I'm thankful for all of that because it just shaped you to be just shaped you to be who you are.
Yeah.
You know, because now when we were 28, we looking at each other now in our 50s. I'm 56. And it's like, you know, like total different mindset, right?
Yeah.
Something somebody said to me is definitely true. They was like, yo, when I was in my 20s, they was like, yo, you're not going to think how you think in your 30s.
Yeah.
Then when I was in my 30s, they was like, yo, you're not going to think how you think like when you're in your 40s. When I was in my 40s, it was like, yo, you're not going to think how you think like when you get to your 50s. Right?
And were they all right?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
100%.
This shit never stops.
Yeah.
Yo! I didn't want to
You know what
hear
I'm
that,
saying?
but it's like, I needed to.
Yeah. Because the thought process, because you get influenced by different things, right?
Yeah, man.
And then you come to realization of some things, of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I remember, remember, yo, somebody step on your sneakers, you mad.
Yeah.
For what?
That's a fight. That was a
What? Yeah.
Yeah, for what?
Right.
For you step on my, just a brush step on my, that's a fight?
It depends on how they do it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it didn't have to have
an intentional, like.
Yeah, but that's the
Still a
thing.
fight.
It didn't have to be any intent.
But you're right.
involved.
You're right. Yeah. If it
Right?
was just an accident.
Yeah, but I'm just using that as just, you know, comparing like those small things don't matter.
They
right?
don't at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now, when you get, you know, like when you get in your 50s, like even from like I realized in my 40s, I was like when I was in my 20s and 30s, I used to be like, yo, I need all the money in the world, right?
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, you know, get past your 30s, get to your 40s, and you're like, hold up, having all the money in the world is not going to make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start realizing, hey, I don't need all the money in the world to live a good life, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, just to quote Biggie record, more money, more problems. More, on any level.
It's so true.
Yeah, on any level, right? So, and just trying to advance in life is just going to present obstacles. It's just how you jump over those hurdles, how you know jump over those obstacles. You know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I like that. Guys, where can the people find you?
Want me to tell? All right. Yo, check out the Kornerstonz. The Kornerstonz projects both sides of the coin on all streaming platforms. Videos on YouTube, Vivo, and you could definitely holler at the Kornerstonz on Instagram. That's Kornerstonz with a Z. And then also you can check out whatever I do on Instagram at @postar_DU.
Hey, so yeah.
Yeah, Ty.
Oh, you're gonna.
I'm good.
You good?
All right. that was it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Man.
All right.
It's the conversation. Yeah. Take your mind different places. Now you know.